choices I made. Whether you accept me or not is your choice. But Ross Lynch just basically sings a song with R5, sings a song by himself solely, and there's really not enough told about him to us as fans of him, and that's what we want to know about Ross Lynch. That's what we want to know about the band members of R5. I'd like to know more about Allison Lynch, for instance, his sister. I'd love to know more about her. I'd love to know more about the band members of R5 who have been overshadowed, without a doubt, by Ross Lynch. And I think that's one of the biggest factors as to why I want to see more coming from R5, why I've never really went to an R5 concert. I know they've headlined the summer big-ticket concerts here for family before, but I've never really made a point to go to a Ross Lynch concert. I have wanted to go to a Ross Lynch concert, and I wanted to go to the big-ticket summers, but the thing was, I was never really a fan of Ross Lynch or R5. I never really could get in to anything that he did. More so, I'd rather be, going to a Becky G concert than I ever would be a Ross Lynch or an R5 concert because, again, the messages of the songs never really told me enough about Ross Lynch. I wasn't really sure what his future had in store, talking about him. Definitely he was a talented actor, but I think he was more talented musical-wise, and that was really the only reason why Austin and Ally really got over it was because of the music. You take that music out of the equation altogether for Austin and Ally, and you have a TV series, yes, with a creative storyline. The relationship between Austin and Ally, Austin Moon and Ally, was looked at a lot in the show, and it could have really went the distance, but you take that music out of the equation altogether, and you're really left with nothing. That's what Austin and Ally survived and thrived off of in both ways, was the music. Steal Your Heart was a great song. Several of the ballads, like 2 in a Million, which was actually the last song that they recorded for the series finale of Austin and Ally, the 1-hour season finale less than 2 weeks ago. There were great songs, and that one song told us a lot about both the actors and actresses of the show and the series, everything the series has gotten to, the pinnacle that it reached for the several seasons, the many episodes that it recorded and produced. The thing was, I wish we had more songs like 2 in a Million that told us more about the relationships of the characters and what points the show had gotten to. We saw very pivotal points of that series ever before the series finale. And I think that we're left with more unanswered questions than we have answers coming away and coming out of in the fallout of Austin and Ally. Like, where do we go from here? And I'm hoping musically the future has a lot in store for R5, not only for Ross Lynch, but for every member of R5, who I think were overshadowed a lot. I think there were a lot of fans of R5, more fans than we're ever given credit for, and they without a doubt are one of the more popular groups or artists combined that ever came from Disney. You have Zendaya, who definitely have blown up because of everything she's done, recently taking a stand against photo editing on the internet, which I also appreciate for doing. She's not really a fan of these photoshopped images. I tend to Photoshop a lot of people, so I'm probably not the biggest getting a lot of support from Zendaya these days. Zendaya probably is not the biggest fan of mine because I tend to Photoshop a lot of people, but, with no disrespect to Zendaya, that happens every single day. I really appreciate how she's raising awareness to this. And I think that, R5 are going to continue to raise awarenesses to a lot of things. They've raised awareness for bullying. They've raised awareness for suicide, all kinds of stuff. And I think that in the future, we're going to see more of this coming from R5 and more tour dates, more albums and EPs, special events they're going to be involved with. There's a lot musically going on for R5, so I think they're going to always find a way to be involved and be in the spotlight. And that's something really important that you have to do. Also, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate those artists who go above and beyond the requirements of being a celebrity and keeping their fans in that informative loop of information. We need to be kept in that informative loop of R5 information, because without that, we're not going to know what R5 are up to, and consequently what's going to happen is we're going to get lost and we're not going to know what R5 is up to, and it's going to seem like they just vanished even when they're still there. Like Nick Jonas, for instance. Nick Jonas was a part of his group, The Administration. I would assume he's still doing things with them because they're probably still recording these songs for Nick Jonas as a solo artist. But I really appreciate how he broke away from the Jonas Brothers, who were really doing nothing. One went and got married. I believe that was Kevin. Joe Jonas put in a couple of songs. He could never really get off the ground. See No More after that one, and one other that he put out on the Billboard chart, which I forget the name of actually. I think the Jonas Brothers actually had one song that was called Pom Poms, and they just vanished. They tried to come out with an album. I think that was back in 2010, 2011, a difference of 4, 5 years maybe, but Nick Jonas really turned his career around. Tried stuff with the administration. He put out an album, and he's been having song after song after song. His new one, Levels, is amazing. Before that, Change and Jealous, hit after hit for Nick Jonas, which was to be expected. The same thing for Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, and I think Ross Lynch really needs to follow in that trend. He needs to keep putting out hit after hit after hit. And here's the thing, Ross Lynch has the talent as an artist. He may not have had the talent as an actor, and he obviously realized that because he's going the route of an Ariana Grande, realizing she had more success as an artist and musically than she ever did as an actress, although I do think she was multi-talented, and it's very rarely you hear me describing someone as multi-talented, especially when you're talking about the Ariana Grandes and the Dove Camerons of the world, very multi-talented individuals who can really go the distance either way, whatever avenue their career tends to head down. But I think Ross Lynch definitely, without a debate or an argument that could be raised, because there are probably people out there who think that Ross Lynch is, in fact, multi-talented in more ways than one, because you can do a lot with someone like Ross Lynch, but I definitely disagree with people who think that he's multi-talented. And a lot of people may hate me for saying that I disagree with the fact that Ross Lynch is multi-talented, which is probably an argument that will be raised for a very long time, because I don't see multi-talents coming from Ross Lynch. I see one definite talent, and that is musically. He is definitely very musically inclined, and he is someone who you can make millions off of. Maybe not in the way of acting or movies. We've seen him in Disney Channel original movies like Teen Beaches 1 and 2. He couldn't get the job done there, and he really couldn't get the job done if not for the music with Austin and Ellie. So I think there is a lot of unanswered questions with uncertain people out there and uncertainty with Ross Lynch's future, because, if he continues acting as an actor either in TV series or movies, I think that he's really going to head down a very precarious road, because nobody is going to want to see that from Ross Lynch. What I want to see from Ross Lynch is something different in the way of a reprieve, and what I want to hear from him is different music. I want to see him possibly change up his image, but not change his image up for the worse in the way of a Justin Bieber or anything like that. I don't want him to go down the road of being the next Justin Bieber. I want him to stay away from some of the choices that Justin Bieber made. I don't want to see him be the next Justin Bieber becoming it. I want to see Ross Lynch kind of come into his own. Tell us more about himself and his music. Definitely set a good example and continue to raise awareness for a lot of things that he's been raising awareness for a very long time, like bullying and various other issues, because I think someone like Ross Lynch can definitely go the distance if ever given that chance. And I think there is a long time for us left to see the best of Ross Lynch reached. He's going to get to that pinnacle, and it's going to be so fun when we eventually see Ross Lynch get to that point of his career where we are waiting to see him get to. And I think there are a lot of fans who feel the same way that I do about both Ross Lynch and R5's future, notwithstanding the other band members of R5 who can still go the distance. Here's the thing about Austin and Ellie. Austin and Ellie went a number of years. I think back in 2011, 2012 is when we saw Austin and Ellie get off the ground. The thing about Austin and Ellie was it really wasn't a show that could go the distance, like Girl Meets World, which will obviously go 6 seasons, hoping to see the kids graduate high school if we see anything from that series. That series just couldn't last 6 seasons. It wasn't meant to go 6 seasons, especially when you have these actors and or actresses, when you're talking about Laura Moreno, who have a lot of talent musically, and they want to do more with music ultimately than they do as actors or actresses. Again, talking about Laura Moreno. Both Austin and Ellie were very talented actors and actresses. Both Ross and Laura were amazing, and I think they just wanted to focus more on music. And anytime you have actors who are just as talented musically in the way of an Ariana Grande or a Selena Gomez, usually a series doesn't last as long as you would think a series would tend to last. But when you're talking about a show like Girl Meets World, yeah, you can easily get 6 seasons out of it, and they know that. Disney has that to fall back on. We're in a time era right now, ladies and gentlemen, where Disney has more to fall back on than they ever had before. Back in 2010, what a difference 5-6 years has made for Disney. Back in 2010, the only thing really they had to fall back on when Hannah Montana and Wizards finished and had their series finales was Shake It Up, and they really thrived off Bella Thorne. Bella Thorne made Shake It Up into what it was. They were trying to thrive off someone like Bridget Miller there for a while. They couldn't get the job done with her because Good Luck Charlie only went, 4 or 5 seasons if we were lucky. And Bridget Miller was more excited to get away from Disney than anybody of that era, of that generation. Now we're in a generation, the good thing is, where they don't have to care about the series finale of Austin and Ellie. Yes, it affects them because usually in the promos, Austin and Ellie is either the second or the third show next to Girl Meets World. They always talk about Girl Meets World seems to be their number one series they always go back to and tend to always fall back on. So do they really care at the end of the day Austin and Ally is over with? I really don't know if they do or not. It's going to be debated. It's going to be an argument that's going to come up for a very long time because I think we've seen enough from Austin and Ally, and I think we need to find out now just what the future has in store. And we're sitting back waiting to find out what this future has in store for Ross Lynch. Obviously, there's a lot of emotion about Austin and Ally not being made anymore. The series finale definitely left a lot of tears in the eyes of people who had followed this show from the get-go. Maybe you were a number one fan of Austin and Ally. I really don't know. You have your favorite moments and favorite episodes of Austin and Ally. You probably definitely recorded it on your PVR multiple times, and you watched them over and over and over again. And I think, what we need to see now is a celebration of Austin and Ally, of anything. It's not that I wasn't the biggest fan of Austin and Ally. It's just there wasn't really much in the series that really entertained me. But I think that we need to see a celebration now of Austin and Ally in the way of maybe several seasons of Austin and Ally, maybe even the full series released on DVD and Blu-ray for the fans out there. Because even though I wasn't a fan of Austin and Ally, there were a lot of people out there who were fans of Austin and Ally. So maybe something in the way of a celebration could come from everything we have seen. I would definitely be for that, and I would definitely be for a future and finding out what the future has in store for Ross Lynch and R5. I'm hoping, just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up of what's coming up over the next couple of weeks in the way of my commentary